The night air shivers as a sudden roar tears through the sky over Lackahurst, New Jersey, and the great German airship Hindenburg erupts in a blaze that will sear itself into the world's memory. It is 7:25 p.m. on the 6th of May, 1937, and the massive rigid dirigible, its sleek silver hull gleaming against the twilight, is attempting a gentle landing after a transatlantic crossing that carried passengers, crew, and a cargo of hydrogen. The crowd of onlookers, journalists, and curious locals watch with a mix of awe and nervous anticipation. The air smells of oil, the faint metallic tang of the Zeppelin's skin, and the distant scent of fresh water from the nearby river. Beat 1. The arrival. The Hindenburg, 804 feet long, is the pride of the German Zeppelin Company, a marvel of engineering that promises a new era of air travel. Inside, the passengers, wealthy Americans, German officials, and a handful of journalists feel the gentle sway of the ship as the ground crew lowers the mooring lines. The captain, a seasoned veteran, gives a calm command, and the crew begins the delicate dance of aligning the airship with the massive wooden mast. On the ground, a team of mechanics checks the hydrogen cells, each holding a volume of gas that could lift a small house. The tension is palpable, but the routine appears to be proceeding without incident. Beat 2. The spark. Suddenly, a crackle echoes from the top of the ship. Witnesses describe a flash of orange light near the forward hatch, a moment that seems to freeze in the collective memory of those present. The first instinct is that a static discharge has leapt from the airship's fabric to the mooring line, a phenomenon engineers have warned about for years. The hydrogen, lighter than air, is kept under pressure but is also highly flammable. Within seconds, the initial spark ignites a small patch of the outer skin, which is coated with a cellulose nitrate lacquer, a material as volatile as the gunpowder used in early firearms. The fire spreads like a living thing, licking the fabric, feeding on the hydrogen that begins to leak from the punctured cells. Beat 3. The inferno. The blaze grows at a terrifying speed. The airship's outer skin, a combination of cotton canvas and the highly flammable lacquer, ignites in a roar that drowns out the crowd's gasps. The hydrogen, once contained, now rushes outward, feeding the inferno. Within a matter of seconds, the Hindenburg becomes a towering column of flame, its once majestic silhouette collapsing into a mushroom of smoke. The crew scramble, trying to release the mooring lines and steer the burning hull away from the ground crew, but the fire has already consumed the control car. The shockwave of the explosion rattles nearby windows, and the smell of burning fabric and chemicals overwhelms the senses. The entire disaster unfolds in less than 90 seconds, yet the image of the burning airship is forever etched into the public consciousness. Beat 4. The immediate aftermath. As the flames die down, a twisted skeleton of metal and rope remains, smoldering against the night sky. Of the 97 people on board, 36 lose their lives, a tragic loss that includes both passengers and crew. The survivors, many with severe burns, are rushed to nearby hospitals. The world watches the grainy black and white footage captured by a newsreel crew, the famous recording of a reporter's trembling voice announcing, "Oh." The humanity the disaster sends shockwaves through the aviation community, prompting an immediate halt to hydrogen-filled airship flights and a re-examination of safety protocols. Mid-story turn. The hidden evidence. For decades, the official narrative has pointed to a static spark as the ignition source, a conclusion drawn from the testimony of the crew and the observation of a small electrical discharge. However, newly declassified engineering reports from the 1970s, combined with modern forensic analysis of the recovered fragments, suggest a different possibility. The lacquer coating, originally thought to be the primary culprit, was later found to contain a higher proportion of nitrocellulose than documented, making it far more explosive. Moreover, a set of maintenance logs indicates that a recent repair on the forward gas cell involved the use of a solvent that left a residue capable of igniting at lower temperatures. This combination of volatile coating and residual solvent creates a tinderbox far more sensitive than previously believed. The turn in the story is the realization that the fire may have begun not from a stray spark, but from a chemical reaction deep within the skin's layers, a hidden flaw that the designers never anticipated. Beat 5. The competing theories. The new evidence fuels a resurgence of debate among historians, engineers, and aviation enthusiasts. One camp maintains that a static discharge, amplified by the ship's massive size and the humidity of the Lackahurst air, was the most plausible trigger. They point to eyewitness accounts of a bright flash and to the fact that static buildup was a known hazard for airships. Another camp argues that the combination of the highly flammable lacquer and the solvent residue created a self-igniting surface, meaning the fire could have started without any external spark at all. A third, more controversial theory, suggests sabotage, a claim based on the political climate of the era, where the Nazi regime sought to demonstrate the superiority of its technology, and a rival faction might have wanted to discredit the project. While no concrete evidence of sabotage has ever been uncovered, the theory persists in popular discourse, illustrating how tragedy can become a canvas for speculation. Beat 6. The legacy. The Hindenburg disaster reshapes public perception of air travel. Airlines shift focus toward heavier thinner aircraft, and the era of the passenger Zeppelin effectively ends. The tragedy also prompts stricter regulations on the use of hydrogen in aviation, leading to the widespread adoption of helium, an inert gas that, while more expensive, eliminates the fire risk. Museums preserve fragments of the Hindenburg's metal framework, and the site at Lackahurst becomes a pilgrimage for those fascinated by the interplay of ambition and catastrophe. Yet, the unanswered question of the precise ignition source continues to haunt scholars. Each new piece of evidence, whether a recovered fragment of lacquer or a forgotten maintenance entry, adds a layer to the puzzle, ensuring that the debate remains alive. Final beat. The haunting question. As the smoke clears and the night returns to its quiet rhythm, one can still hear the echo of that final roar, a reminder that technology, no matter how grand, is vulnerable to the smallest of oversights. The Hindenburg's story is not just about a ship that burned, it is about the fragile line between triumph and disaster, and about how a single, unseen chemical reaction can rewrite history. Historians today still argue, was the Hindenburg's demise the result of a simple static spark, a hidden chemical flaw, or something more sinister? The answer remains out of reach, lingering like the faint ash that still clings to the lake's surface, inviting each new generation to look deeper into the flames.